everyone, today we are going to be covering the last required fight in the game Lies of P, Simon Manus. Let's get into this with this opening cutscene. Let's go! Simon Manus is a two-phase boss fight. You did get to see a little bit of him after beating champion Victor earlier in the game, but he never really played much of a storyline until then. He has these two phases, Arm of God, which is the first phase, and then the second phase, which is known as the Awakened God. He wanted to steal all the ergo in the area to make himself ascend to a god more or less. You can Spectre Summon on this fight. You can break his weapon as well, the mace, in both phases. But if you break the weapon in the first phase, it stays broken in the second phase. He is weak against acid and slash-based attacks, but is strong against electricity and blunt-based attacks. The recommended weapons for this fight are the Bone Cutting Saw or the Great Sword of Fate. If you're doing a technique build, absolutely use whatever you want. I did use the Puppet Ripper for this. The recommended items for this fight are the Fire Canister and the Awakened Gods Amulet. It increases your Fable Art damage inflicted on staggered enemies. Something to note as well, as of a more recent patch 1.2, the HP and the damage of this boss were decreased, which allows the chance to break his stance. This fight begins with Simon Manus in his Arm of God form. Please make sure that you try to be conservative with the use of your pulse cells because there is a really hard second phase, as you can see here. He will wield this large heavy mace that he swings around. The swings are a little bit slower because of the size of the mace, but they do have a long reach as well. And he will also be dragging his weapon on the round while sweeping it around the area. So once he swings with his forehand, you can expect he will reset and follow up with a backhand swing. Immediately after these actions, there is a brief period where he pauses before he takes his next action. Make sure to play aggressively during this fight. Deny him the opportunity to retaliate because you want to get through this first phase as fast as possible, so that way you can get onto the second phase, which is definitely the more difficult phase of the fight. Some of the attacks you can look out for in the first phase are the swing, the leap attack, an overhead swing, a fiery overhead swing, and a circle of doom. You can jump or guard most of these attacks, but that fiery overhead swing, you want to make sure you run back away from him to try and get behind him to continue playing the offensive. Whenever he goes into a second phase, I want to apologize right now in regard to it, only because this boss fight, it took a lot of strength on my computer to make sure it could actually run. It was very laggy and a little bit glitchy with all the colors and everything on screen, but we will go into the second phase here now. All right, guys, we're going to be moving into the second phase here where Simon gets additional powers. He now has the ability to also deal a number of ranged attacks. You want to watch the animation of his new God Arm as he makes a summoning motion. The attack shoots out gusts of wind towards you. Another ranged attack will allow him to summon a celestial cloud that can shoot out glowing beams. You need to continue to run to avoid the damage. You also need to keep moving to not get caught in these large scale ranged attacks. These attacks can also inflict disruption, which is an ailment that can cause instant death when filled. If you haven't experienced that already, I think the first time you really experience disruption is before the Walker of Illusions. With a combination of running in and attacking aggressively in between attacks, dealing a charged attack whenever you can hopefully stagger him so you can follow with a fatal attack. You can focus on dodging and parrying so you can continue to approach and continuously attack to slowly deplete his health when fight is completed. Some of the attacks to watch out for, as mentioned, were the ones in the first phase, including a pillar attack, which he will send a ghostly pillar down to attack the player. They'll also do a leap attack, the gust, the celestial strikes, the orbs, a blast attack roll, a move called Circle of Doom, which he smashes his weapon in front of him, and releases a circle which becomes large. You just want to back away from that attack as it deals very, very high damage. It can really hurt you. His hand smite and God smite. After you beat this boss, you will receive the Fallen One's Ergo and the Arm of God. And then, if you would so choose so, you can be done of the game there, or you can move on to the final optional boss of the game, which we will get into next video. If you did like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see more videos like this in the future. This is almost close to the end of our Lies of P series, so I will be giving a full review of the game here in the upcoming videos, so make sure you stay tuned in for that. Until next time, easy peasy.